In the spring of 1241, as the snows of Eastern Europe melted into rivers of mud and blood, the Mongol horde descended upon Poland, an army so swift and merciless that entire kingdoms crumbled before its hooves. The Battle of Legnica was not meant to be a victory, it was meant to be a warning. Batu Khan and the genius tactician Subutai had already crushed Rus's cities and burned their way across the Carpathians. They came not for conquest, but to break the spirit of Europe before turning south to Hungary. Against them stood Duke Henry the Pious of Silesia, a man young, determined, and painfully aware that he faced the most fearsome warriors the world had ever known. His call for aid reached Bohemian knights, Templars, Teutonic brothers, even peasants who took up scythes and axes, knowing full well they would likely die. Yet they came driven by duty, faith, and the faint hope that courage might stand where armies could not. When the morning mist lifted over the plains near Legnica, the sky darkened not with clouds but with arrows. The Mongol cavalry moved like shadows, precise and fluid, their tactics honed over decades of conquest. They feigned retreat, luring the Europeans into pursuit, only to encircle them in a storm of death. The knights, heavy in armor and faith, charged again and again, their banners flashing red and white, their prayers swallowed by the roar of hooves. Henry rode at their head, his banner depicting the Virgin Mary fluttering in the chaos. For hours they fought, the clash of steel and screams blending into a single, unending cry. But courage met calculation, and the Mongols' mastery of mobility, deception, and terror turned the tide. Smoke bombs and fire arrows filled the air. Horses panicked. The knights' formation broke. Henry's forces were surrounded, crushed under the weight of strategy more than strength. When Duke Henry fell, he fell as a symbol, not of defeat, but of defiance. His body was found headless, his banner trampled, yet his courage became legend. The Mongols severed his head and raised it on a spear to terrify the cities beyond. And yet, they did not march further west. For reasons still debated by historians, perhaps orders from the Great Khan's death in faraway Mongolia, the Mongols halted, turning their fury away from Europe's heart. Legnica was spared annihilation, but its fields were left haunted by silence. In that silence lay the echo of every scream, every clash of sword and shield, a memory Europe would carry for centuries. The Battle of Legnica remains one of history's most haunting what-ifs, a moment when the known world teetered on the edge of collapse. Had the Mongols continued west, had Subutai unleashed his genius upon the rest of Europe, perhaps the castles of France, the cathedrals of Rome, even the cities of England might have burned as Kiev and Krakow did. Instead, the fields of Legnica became a graveyard of hope and a monument to human resolve. For though Henry and his knights were lost, their stand marked the first time Europe truly saw the Mongols for what they were. Not invincible gods, but men. Men who could be delayed, resisted, and eventually repelled. Legnica's ashes fed a legend that bravery, though crushed, can still echo across time. The songs of those who died there became whispers of defiance, carried by the wind into chronicles and prayers. And as historians look back, they find not just the tragedy of slaughter, but the fragile beauty of conviction in the face of annihilation. If you believe forgotten battles deserve to be remembered, if you want to see the untold moments where the fate of the world hung by a sword's edge, subscribe to Teduent and join the journey through the hidden chapters of history.